Hey, monkey boy. This time I can prove the Israelites weren't black using ChatGPT. Ha!
So that's what we're doing now? Using AI?
What was that? I couldn't hear you over that smoke alarm chirp you people can't hear. Say that again?
Hilarious and original.
Hilarious and original. Hilarious and original. Hilarious and original.
I said, is that what we're doing now? Using AI to prove who the Israelites are?
That's exactly what we're doing, and I'll show you, boy.
Oh, brother.
2 hours later.
Your room still stinks.
Look at how easily ChatGPT debunks everything you chimps have to say. Ha! You was not kings, and you was not Israelites.
If we're going to use AI, then let's at least use an AI that's trained on the Bible without the Masoretic mistranslations or any agendas and actually tells us the truth.
Liar, there's no such thing.
I'll show you. Let's use Israelitebot. Go to Israelitebot.com and ask the same thing.
Fine, but I bet it'll say the same thing as ChatGPT. No! No!
You see? I told you.
No!
And it shows biblical proof.
No! This is preposterous. I hate this website. It's all wrong.
Stop crying.
Your website sucks.
The Rise of Africa, the continent, the diaspora, and BRICS explores the relationships that are affecting the global economy right now. This book explores the relationships of the African diaspora's influence on the African continent and why this is important in stabilizing relationships with an understanding of how BRICS impacts the future, good or bad. You can order your copy of The Rise of Africa today on Amazon.com.
Neo-diplomacy is the new currency. Neo-diplomacy is the new currency. The reason that I can say that is you have a couple of different factors occurring right now as we speak on the world stage. The dollar is being disrupted. Nations are no longer wanting to engage with the United States. But the third factor that affects each and every one of us is that there is a diaspora from the African continent that's willing and able to engage our brothers and sisters on the continent.
Shalom, Salama, Siyemi, Shalom. Greetings to all my Israelite brothers and sisters from around the world, whether the bloodline of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the house of Israel, or you're a Gentile grafted in to the house under the blood of Yahushua HaMashiach. I welcome you this morning. This morning, I'm going to present some things at a academic level so you can understand the gravity of the situation that we're in. Now, while it may not affect us just yet, it's going to affect us eventually. So when you start to understand how the stock market works, when you start to understand how the bond market works, you'll begin to understand what that is doing to the rest of the world and what that ultimately means for us here, the African diaspora, especially in the United States, and our brothers and sisters on the continent. Because these are truly some interesting times that no one has really experienced before. I would say no one's experienced this before. At least those that are living. Let me qualify that. Because over the last time this was felt, I believe was in the 20s when you had the Great Depression hit. And then from the Great Depression, you had a buildup in military for war. Because the reality is everything that they do is centered on the continent, and they like to then provide the gaslight of, well, we don't really care about the continent. Yeah, right. They care about the continent. They care about the continent so much so that they had to take prisoners of war away from the continent. That just kind of tells you. Multi-generational prisoners of war, mind you. Before I get started, I want to go back into this is a oldie but goodie. This was the cornerstone scripture of Covenant Awakenings when I had first started. King James Version. This is going to be Daniel chapter 12, verse 2. Daniel chapter 12. Well, let me just start. Daniel chapter 12. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people. And there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book. Many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to and some to shame and everlasting contempt. And they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament, and they that turn many to righteousness as the stars forever and ever. But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. And you could read the rest of Daniel chapter 12. But I wanted to come in here to let you know we're in a time that knowledge is increasing. Let me see if and as knowledge is increasing, let's understand that the times on us are becoming much harder because we're no longer quote unquote forced or allowed to be in ignorance. We're not allowed to be sleeping in the dust. We're starting to wake up. We're starting to come alive, and we're starting to do some simple things of asking questions. Do you know that's how you increase your knowledge? By asking questions. Earlier this week, I had to sit down with my committee chair, and we had a discussion on my research questions. He wanted me to, and I still have to do it. So, a lot of things I got to do. He asked me, personalize the questions. Have those questions to where they are personal. How do you feel? How does your experience? What does your experience? And I had a nice little graphic that showed the breakdown of the model that I was using of post-colonial, de-dollarization, de-westernization, BRICS, and then African Union. It's actually a really good model. I was proud of that. Because the reality is that that model is actually happening right now in front of our faces. How is that model happening? Well, because we're communicating. What does that mean? We have an influence on the continent, whether you believe it or not, whether they want to admit it or not. And I'm going to tell you, our enemies are not going to admit the influence that we have with our voice. Do you want to know why? Because our enemies don't want us Of course, that messes up. Give me a second. Let me try this. I always hate when that happens. Okay, well, StreamYard is not allowing that. Interesting. I'm telling you. They really hate when we do something. That's crazy. Let me try it this way. Sorry about that. Amazing that you get more technical difficulties with different things. Can you all see that? Give me a one if you can see it. I believe this is all I'm authorized to show right now. So this is one of the photos of the, and it's not just a photo. There's a lot of things that's going on in the background. I'd like to first say thank you to my Q2A family, brothers and sisters over there. I'd also like to say thank you to our NeoDiplomatic Corps. Our summer cohort 2025 is unreal. I thank the Most High for those that have signed up in that cohort. It has been amazing. I'm going to list this in Q2A. Because right now, I'm going to be providing a handwritten note to President Captain Ibrahim Traore. So what that's going to do is that here's the offer. All of this is going to be produced in a video. Oh, there's more beautiful bean footage than this. Again, the container ships in early May, or ships in May. Excuse me. That's all I can say in terms of the anonymity of the shipping process. Because imagine if you are listening in and you are a nefarious actor that does not want any of this to occur. And you have the reach of, let's just say, governmental capabilities. I'm not saying which government, I'm just saying governmental capabilities. I do not want this logistics operation to be hijacked. And I think that none of us want that to happen, especially if you support this channel and especially if you supported this container initiative. Those are the start of all the medical supply containers. Or excuse me, medical supplies in that medical supply shipping container. Trust me, it gets built all the way out to the front. But this is all I'm authorized to show because at the front, it shows container numbers and things of that nature. And of course, we don't want to have that shown because we don't want to have traceability. But those are the donations from us. So here's the offer right now for those that have the capability to do so. There are sponsorship tiers to this. I'm just giving you the Q2UA sponsorship tier, but you can find out more on Q2UA.org. This will be posted sometime next week. But I'm giving you here the information. Because a couple of these things is something that I'm going to endorse. These are what that's what I'm going to do. So in the production, which will go to the people of Burkina Faso, the video will be shown to members of the government of Burkina Faso. At the end, we will have a list of the sponsors that will be in that video. It will be a YouTube video, and that YouTube video will be hosted over at Q2UA's channel. At the end of the video, we will also have sponsors that will be scrolling that help to support the delivery of the container from the port to Ouagadougou. From Ghana to Burkina Faso. And the descriptions of that video the name of the sponsor or the name of the business that has sponsored the ground transportation will be listed. And I am penning a custom written letter. A letter of gratitude for us to provide a gift to the people of Burkina Faso on behalf of Q2A and Region 6 and even ADDI. And all of the sponsors that help to make the ground transportation happen. That will be penned in with my writing. My penmanship has gotten better since teaching 8th grade. But this is a letter to the people of Burkina Faso that will be delivered to the president. Physically delivered. Yeah. That will happen. So if you would like to be a proud sponsor, you would be able to sign up with the donation. And that starts at $1,250. $1,250. I'm going to limit the sponsorships to 25. If you want to have your name, if you want to have your business, your name will be on the proud supporter or proud sponsor in the ending credits of the video, and it will be in the description link or the description of the video, and it'll also be handwritten. It'll be included in a handwritten letter on a nice card stock that will go to the office of the president of Burkina Faso. I can only run this promotion until June 15th. Unfortunately, because of the time constraints that we will have. If you are interested you can go ahead and send me an email at board@questtouniteafrica.org. That's board@questtouniteafrica.org. That's the offer. That way I can get your metrics, get all the information down, and then you'll continue to okay, someone may not have gotten or understood this. The handwritten letter will go to the president's office of Burkina Faso. Like President apostrophe S. It'll go to his office. That's who we have dealt with in the past and who we are still dealing with this gift. I know it's 7 in the morning and 6 or 5 or 4 if you're here in the diaspora, especially in the United States, and it's in the afternoon for some. So I know that I'm saying a lot for people in the morning when they haven't even gotten their first cup of coffee. I certainly haven't, so I can definitely empathize with you all because this is a big offer. That's why I say you have until July 15th. Take your time. But you can't take too much time because there's a container that's on its way. So we want to produce and we want to shoot high quality video, high quality images, and we want to provide a high quality product that can be visible and seen. Because let me tell you this is just Burkina Faso now. We haven't even talked about Mali or Niger. But I want us to understand, look, your money is great. It is. But let me tell you what's even better. Your voice. We can show people this all day long, but guess what happens? Your voice needs to happen. Look at what we've done. That's great, but it's your voice. Your voice needs to happen. Your voice plus the image, guess what? That's powerful. And guess what happens? You begin to shine as bright as the firmament. You begin to be as righteous as the stars forever and ever. Because we're standing up. We're getting out of our dust. We're getting out of our slumber. We're getting out of our sleep. And guess what we're doing? We're giving praise. Praising who? Our brothers and our sisters on the continent. Because why? Well, simply put, That is the blessings of Judah, Yahudah, however you want to pronounce it. Genesis 49, verse 8. Judah, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise. Thy hand shall be in the neck of thine enemies. Thy father's children shall bow down before thee. Judah is a lion's whelp. From the prey, my son, thou art gone up. He stooped down, he couched as a lion, and as an old lion, who shall rouse him up? The scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet, unto Shiloh come, and unto him shall the gathering of the people be. And unto him shall the gathering of the people be. How is that? Because we have to learn how to praise our brothers and sisters, to love one another, to support one another, to build with one another. This is something that the Most High did in literally less than 60 days. I'm sorry, but to me, that's very, very impressive. I'm shocked to have witnessed all of this. I'm shocked. Binding his foal or his fowl unto the vine, and his ass's colt unto the choice vine. He washed his garments in wine, and his clothes, in the blood of grapes. His eyes shall be red with wine, and his teeth white with milk. You know what that is? That's the blessing of the land. Because why? Because we know how to produce. We know how to cultivate. We know how to manufacture. We know how to implement technology. We know how to build up. And we do a great job. They do a great job of destroying, but we do an awesome job of building. Do you know that they can't build anymore because they're too afraid that will rise up over them? That's their curse. That's their fear. The fear is that as we begin to do more of this, to do more interactions with our brothers and sisters, the fear is that their system is going to collapse. Well, I have news for you this morning. And I built this on up because there's a reason why. Bringing the container from Atlanta over to Ghana, that was a known. That's a known quantity. That's a known effort. But now we're doing something that is an unknown. We are now bringing a container from Ghana over to Ouagadougou. And that effort is going to have risk. But guess what? The Most High knows that. That's why the Most High is involved in this. But he gives us witty inventions and ideas. That's what we have been able to do for them. And do you know that the witty inventions and ideas, we're no longer sharing that with them? Have you noticed that we take our witty inventions and ideas and we don't like to share that with people? Have you noticed that we've taken our witty inventions and ideas and we try to go elsewhere so we can profit off of it instead of them profiting off of it? Do you know that that is the single collapse of the US dollar is because they are not able to utilize our inventions and our ideas? They just can't take it like that. No, you want to see this, guess what? Not going to happen. I've filmed this. I've had video of this. I have a company that has trademarked this. We've become very, very uncontrollable. Because why? Because we know how the system works. And guess what? That knowledge that has increased is now tearing them down. And it's tearing them down in a very, very violent manner. It's tearing them down because they don't trust their dollar to circulate any longer because they understand they do not have the capacity to innovate. They do not have the capacity to invent. Now, understand they used to have the capacity to steal our inventions. They could do that all day long. But now they don't have that capacity. Now they have a very big issue. Knowledge has increased. Wait, how can I make sure that I'm making the money that I'm supposed to make so that no one can steal this idea? How do I make sure that my material is copyrighted? My book is copyrighted. That's all I think about, man. What do I do? How do I copyright this? How do I trademark this? Because why? Because we want to have the legal mechanisms and protections to be able to say that what I did is something that nobody can steal. And here's the reality. They cannot steal your image anymore. Because why? Because they can't steal your ideas anymore. Unless you want to just give them the idea, then that's a whole new story. But no, they really can't go through and take ideas like that anymore. And they understand that. And they're getting very, very mad about it because this is now disrupting their 400-year game plan. I'm sorry it took a little bit of time with the container thing, because breaking this on down, I got a call from one of my Ghanaian business partners. He's helping to oversee the leg of travel from Ghana to Burkina Faso, Ouagadougou. And I've known this brother for a few years. They know who they are. They know who we are. It just wasn't very fashionable to let people know who we were. You know. But now, all of a sudden, as things are not playing out so well for the system, all of a sudden, people are becoming bolder and bolder about declaring who we are. That's a story for another day. But in this story, as I digress, in this story, this took place yesterday. This took place right after I got off. And my Ghanaian counterpart, he calls me, he says, Harris, things here are getting real crazy in Ghana. I said, how so? He said, let me explain to you what's going on with the dollar. I said, what's going on? He said, last week when I left, he left from Atlanta to Ghana. Last week, he was able to purchase 12 CDs, which is their Ghanaian monetary unit, like the dollar, they call it the CD. Said it cost him $1 for 12 CDs. He said this week, $1 cost him 9, or is going to be 9 CDs. I looked at that and I'm like, what? I said, that doesn't make any sense. Understand that when you have that type of a price change anywhere, anything more than literally like 5%, any value more than a 5% fluctuation is insane. And the reality is, this was hilarious. I laughed because I'm just going to copy and put this link in here. I like to watch Sean Fu. He's an Asian YouTuber. I'm not going to show the content because for the time. But I was watching him this morning, and then I kind of had to laugh. He said that the dollar has fallen in value by 7%, just like what you saw the fall in value of 25, almost 30% in Ghana, and it's still falling. And it's notable that when you listen to Sean Fu and his content, he says this. He said anything more than like 5%, because he was talking about the Korean won, the South Korean won, which had fallen by 7%. He said anything that's above 5% spells catastrophe. And I had to laugh because I'm like, well, there's a witness. And there are other witnesses to that when you're looking at geopolitics and things of that nature. any type of geopolitical channel that will tell you about monetary policy. What does that mean? It fell from you're not getting the bang for your buck. It's now costing more. And it's funny to see how the Most High, in his infinite and awesome timing, we were able to get this thing on out to get shipped. To get it on its way to the continent. So my brother over there is getting things knocked on out. My Ghanaian brother is getting things taken care of. But he wanted to let me know what it is that we were dealing with, because understand, this is the whirlpool effect that I was saying. It's a whirlpool effect. When the dollar is draining. Yeah, we get a little bit of drain here. That's inflation. But they're getting a lot of the drain over in these countries. And that also does affect them when they're dealing with USD. So now countries can't de-dollarize fast enough, and it's actually becoming a weaponized economic calamity. So what does that even mean for you all? Look, what that means for us is we don't have that purchasing power as we travel. It becomes more expensive. So as people are operating in the dollars going over to these countries, it's going to cost more to access their funds. I had explained this a couple months ago, but now understanding this, and it's not just Ghana, there's a lot more places. People are strengthening their currencies against the US dollar. So what does that mean? That means that just in time for vacation, folks are going to have to rethink their budgets. Because now it's becoming more and more unaffordable. We were going to get to this time. But here's the awesome thing about all of this. Like I had said, neo-diplomacy is the new currency. It is. I have a $27 course, a $97 course. I have a cohort coming up in fall. I want to make sure that we get through this container first, because the fall cohort is going to deal with something a little bit more unique. As we'll have a little bit more meteor engagements. As we're looking at different neo-diplomatic developments happening and how we plan for those. I'm already looking at the agenda of what that's going to look like for the fall cohort. And keep in mind, all of this is all cutting edge. This is not the same system that it was 5, 10, 15 years ago. This is not the same setup. It's totally unique, honestly, for us to have all the gains. And I think that that's really the way that the Most High put it. We are in the driver's seat. And it's awesome to be in the driver's seat. Because why? Because it's the Most High that's leading things the way that he's putting us. The container is on its way. For those that are just coming in late. I'm not going to go through and do the whole pitch and spiel. You all can catch that on the replay. If you want to be a legacy sponsor, you can listen, and then I'll have all these details posted because I got to make sure that the criteria is posted the correct way. But now's the time for us to get excited, and now's the time for us, we have to truly open our mouths. This is it. I don't want to open my mouth. I don't want to say anything. That may be the sentiment, but you know what? The reality was I really didn't want to say much. But guess what? How can you be a servant of the Most High and not open your mouth? Tell me how tell me how that works. I'd like to know how that works to be a servant of the Most High and then not open your mouth. I'm just trying to figure that one out. With that said, family, I got to get going. Tomorrow on QTUA, we will have a special where I will be interviewing a member of Center Marimba, I will have that thumbnail and live stream released here sometime today for that interview. But yes, family, the container's on its way. I just want to let you know that this was the only authorized picture that I could guide. So tell your friends, tell your family, it's it's about to, our gift is going to the people of Burkina Faso. This is going to be truly an incredible journey. And that journey started April 1st. So with that said, family, let me get up on out of here and get some things knocked out. Continue to keep me in your prayers. Keep me and my family in your prayers. My dad is going through some things right now. It's when you're doing these things for the Most High, when you're working for the Most High, look, you're gonna get all sorts of spiritual opposition. It happens. It doesn't mean that I'm worn out. Sometimes I do get worn out. Sometimes I do get weary. But your prayers and your support, family, they make a tremendous difference. So if you'd like to support this channel, there's that. I appreciate it. Hallelujah. Let people know about the Q2A legacy sponsorships. They can email us. If they're interested, they can email us. And that's at board@quest2nightafrica.org. That's board@quest2nightafrica.org. And again, if you'd like to support this channel and the efforts that this channel is able to broadcast, I definitely appreciate it. Next week I'll be changing my time. I won't be on as early. I will be going back to the 7:30 time slot. So if you think that you're going to catch me at 6:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, well, you're going to have to wait an hour. So with that said, family, y'all have a blessed day. Be blessed in the awesome and mighty name of Yahushua HaMashiach. And understand just how powerful your voice is, because it's the Most High that gave you that power. And what the Most High gives, guess what? Do you realize this? No one can take it away. So roar like the lion's whelp you're supposed to be, and that has already been declared as our blessing, because it truly is. Hallelujah. And with that said, family, most high willing, I'll be back on next week, and you'll catch me tomorrow on Q2A with the interview with Senator Maremba. And with that said, family, shalom, salama, siyemi, shalom, peace and blessings, Yasharel.